Alright, welcome back to Drafting 230, AutoCAD 3D Modeling. We moved on to Chapter 5, 3D Surface Modeling. Surface modeling can be fun as long as you understand the nature of the beast. Otherwise, you never become one with the nature of this thing. You can cuss it all the way. So let me walk right into showing you our planar surface that we want to cover. And what we want to try to do, whoops, let's try it again, click it again. Okay, what we want to try to do is cover that front view, or this, what's the side of our block. But if you'll notice, I'm only able to get right here at the bottom. That's not what I want to do. So let's hit escape. And the reason why is because we're working in the top view, or we could be working in the isometric view. Isometric view is great to look at things, and in a lot of ways it's very useful to be working in. But comes down to some of the specific tools, it's a good idea to work in the specific view. So, as if there wasn't enough ways to change your view, here's another way. Up here in the top left, where it says View Controls right now, I click on that. What I really want to be in is the front view. Okay, so I'll swing it back out and revolve it so that I can work on it now. And hit escape, take me out of that command. If I go over here to planar and I let my cursor sit there for a second, you'll notice a video pop up. Now it's not much of a video, it's just a quick demonstration about how you can make this tool work for you. Okay, so we're going to select our planar, and I'm going to go from that top corner down to the next corner, and you do definitely want to make sure that it snaps to it. Okay, I want the corner. I don't want anything else. I want the corner. Okay, and there it is. So right now that is a what's called a mesh surface for obvious reasons. We have a mesh. Okay, if we spin this around, always spin this around, make sure it worked for you. Okay, so here we go. We've got that side covered, and then while I'm at it, because I'll be working parallel to that, I can actually come over here and knock this side out too. So I can right click, it's not there, I need to come out of my command, and here we go, plane surf, corner to corner, right click, oh, hit escape, there we go. Alright, spin it around, make sure it worked. Okay. Alright, now we can change the actual perspective here. We can do this through hit escape. See up here where I'm going to go back up here at the top left where it says visual style control. I can click that and I can go to realistic or hidden or shaded. I prefer to work with shaded with edges, but if you work in conceptual, you notice we come up with colors. Now the reason why that's blue right now is because I'm working with a blue layer line. If I have a green layer line, that'll show up in green. Kind of neat. So now what we want to do is we need to take this corner off of here. So we do that by using the command trim. Now trim can be found up here on the ribbons, or you can select your mesh and then right click and it's right here, trim. Okay, it says select the cutting curve or surface regions. So what it's saying is I want to cut this stuff. I want to use this line, right click, and left click on what you want to cut off. Okay, so one more time, hit escape, take me out of that command, spin it around. Okay, right click, there's nothing there because I didn't select anything. So to select it, hit escape, take me out of that, left click, right click, nothing there, right click again, here we go, trim. Okay, select the cutting curve or surface regions. Okay, I'm going to pick this line, right click, and then what I want to cut with a left click. Fairly simple. Okay, so we'll finish this off. I would like to cut that hole out of there. Alright, spin this around. I need to put some surface on this also. So let's go to my home, 3-point. Bring in my new UCS. Looks like I need to bring in a object snap perpendicular. Okay, so now we're good. Go straight up. Double check it. Make sure it worked. It didn't work. Always double check. Cannot emphasize enough. Okay, so we need to put our X up here, right on the corner. And what makes this confusing for the software is working in the meshes, because it has a tendency to want to snap to the mesh that might be behind it. If I take this conceptual and we go back to our 2D wireframe, you'll see what I'm saying. It'll try to snap to anything here. Okay, so going back to surface, planar, and I want to make sure you're snapping. See that square? That means I'm in the exact corner. Now over here I don't have anything really to snap to except for here, so I can take it past it. Okay, so with this, I'm just going to stay right here in wireframe, because sometimes when you go to do this trim, it doesn't trim properly because your line might be not on top, or they might be too close to each other, or whatever reasons. Now sometimes if you have a line on top of a line and you think you're selecting the line to cut it with, it won't cut because you have the line that you need to cut with behind it. Let's see if this works. Okay, so right here, and picking my lines. Oh, see there, I picked behind it. This is why I'm working a wireframe. Otherwise I wouldn't see that in Surface, or in a different conceptual style. Okay, so let's try it again. Trim. Okay, and I need to select my area that I am using to cut with. Okay, right click, enter. Let's see if it works. Didn't work. Can be very aggravating. So let's take this line. Okay, and here's what I was talking about earlier. Okay, and right click, draw order, and bring to front. Okay, so what that hopefully will do is put our cutting line on top of what we need to cut. Now, what may be causing us problems is this mesh over here. We may have to just redo this. So let's hit again. So I'll select my mesh, right click, trim, using this line to cut with. And right click, and make sure we're on a line. There we go. Now it's coming apart in pieces. Good to see something work, especially during a demonstration. Okay, and there we are. Hit escape, take us out of that command, spin it around, make sure that it actually worked. There we are. Okay, so hit escape, right click, repeat our command, surface trim. Okay. And now what are we doing? I need this object. Okay, so right click, or left click, sorry, and then right click again, and it didn't work. So let's bring that on top. Right click, draw order, bring to front. Okay, now this is actually on top of our surface. Okay, so select our mesh, right click, trim, pick our line, right click, and make sure we're right on that line, and there you go. Okay, so that finished that. Spin around, make sure it all worked. Okay. Now, this basically, as you understand, make sure that you work in the views that you need to be working in. So let's turn this around, and we're going to go to, I believe the left will take us where we want to go. Spin it around. Need to bring in a planar surface. Make sure I've got a square. That puts me in the corner. Anything else is putting me close to the corner, and it may not work. There it is. Okay. And even though it looked like I was away from it, trust it. The square is there. Go ahead and snap to it. Okay, so I already know from the past that I need to right click, okay, and draw order, bring this to front, okay, select my mesh, right click, trim, going to cut, use this, right click, and make sure I'm on that line, and then remove that. Okay, so we finish this up if I wanted to, but I believe you got the understanding of it. We're going to go to shades of gray and move this around, take a look at it. I think you got an understanding of it. You know, of course, with additional odd surfaces like this, I need to bring in another UCS and hit that again. But I think you get the understanding of that. So let's move on. Let me show you a few new tricks that you may not see in the book. And we'll see if loft works. Loft is pretty darn interesting. So is blend and patch. Now loft. Let's see if loft will work for what we want to do here. From here to this line. There it is. And hit enter. Enter. Okay. So what loft did, I basically selected that this pentagon and then the circle. Look at there. Loft took me from a 5-sided object to a round object. Pretty neat. Now, patch, what patch will do, let's take another look at things. Let's move this over. And I just held my middle mouse button down to pan back and forth. I'm not sure if I covered that, but I'm pretty good at repeating myself in this business. So repeating it probably didn't hurt. Okay, so let's say loft. I have a vase I want to create. Oops, I'm in the wrong view. So let's go over here and we'll change the view. Okay, and let's take it back to right here. Okay, that'll work for me. So we'll work outside of here. Let's bring this up and bring in a circle. I want to create a vase. Spin this around so find out what's going on. I'm just floating out there in space. Let's turn my grid on. Some of the problems you run into when you're working with this. Okay, so view, 3D views. Let's go with top view. Alright. Now let's change it back. We'll go to a view. I prefer to work out of this. Seems to work better for me. Okay, so let's find out what's going on here. Come, my circle didn't work. Okay. Bring it in a circle. Okay, now it works. Okay, so let's say bring in another circle, and let's just put this out here, and then let me turn my snaps on to right here, nearest and intersection. That looks good. And we'll create another circle right up here, and we'll finish it up right there. That looks good. Let's spin this around, make sure see how I'm kind of floating out there? Sometimes AutoCAD will do that for you. You think you're actually on Isn't that crazy? Okay, well let's bring it back down to earth. That's because basically I'm not connected to anything down here. So let's bring it back down here where I want it. And I can move this. I'm going to put it right down here. Okay, let's see if it worked. See? You gotta be careful that when you're working on the AutoCAD 3D, your stuff has a tendency to float. Okay, so now I'm back down. I can get rid of that line, and it's still there. Okay, so with the surface, what were we doing? Okay, loft. Here we go, loft. Nice tool. Going from here to there, to there, to there, and then hit enter, and enter again. Look at there. I created my vase, if you will. Now I need to cover the bottom of it so that my water doesn't leak out when I go to water my flowers. So I need to put in a patch. Okay, patch. You want to make sure that you're clicking on what you think you're clicking on. There we go. My blue line. Right click, enter, enter again, and that kept it. So I've got the bottom to my vase here. Okay, so now let's say I want to get creative, and I want to add an offset to it. Now, an offset's pretty darn interesting too. Let's one, okay, and pick this surface, and there we go. It says, look at there. I think I went about this wrong. Let's try it again. You have to hit offset, select surfaces. Oh, okay, select surfaces. Okay, so I want this surface. Okay, enter. Now see all those little arrows? That's the direction everything is going to go. Okay, I want to key in 1. Alright. And then real fast it popped up a second surface that was an offset from this inside vase. Now I've got a vase within a vase. I could actually delete that too. Here we go, if I can get on it here. See there? So I didn't like the way my vase turned out, so I wanted to make it bigger. So I liked the shape of it and offset it and deleted the other one. Okay, so as you get to know this chapter, know that it's looks like it's only one chapter, and then we move into chapter 6, solid modeling. But when it comes to things like maybe motorcycle gas tanks or car panels or things that have got odd shapes that aren't exactly geometrical in figure, this is where surface comes in. See how I made that vase? I mean, there's much more difficult ways to make this thing, but in surface it really makes it fairly easy. Okay, well, that's surface modeling. I'm not going to hog up too much more of our video space here, and enjoy the chapter, and we'll talk to you in the next video.